Okay, everybody, it's 1:30. We're looking for one or two more. Is that correct, Robin? Are we looking good?
I think we're probably good to go. We're exactly at quorum of 10.
Okay. All right, well, let's call this meeting to order. I see some people on the screen. I've got some people here. That's good to be shoulder to shoulder again for me, myself, because I've been virtual a lot. Get Robin, do us a roll call and check everybody in, please.
Okay, John Dottery,
I'm here.
Dolly Holland, Matt Montgomery,
Here.
Stacy Thurman,
Here.
Aaron Tipton,
Here.
Connie Snell, here, Ryan Henson,
Here.
Donna Angel, here, Tiffany Walls,
Here.
David Sturgill,
Here.
Darlene Thomas, here, Tiffany Reese, here, Michael Bushman,
Here.
Stacy May,
Here.
Colin Mosley,
Here.
Rolando Packer,
Here.
Hannah Gregory, here, Todd Blanton,
Here.
Jennifer Hayes,
Here.
Kevin Moore,
Here.
Sarah Dodisi. He was on a minute ago. Oh,
I saw it.
I'm here.
okay. Okay, did I miss anyone? Okay, good then.
We're good to go. Thank you so much, Rob.
You're welcome.
Looks like we've got a few action items today and some informational items to speak on. We got down to business and make this meeting happen. So our first action item is approval of the minutes from the March 6th meeting. It's been included in your packet. If everybody had a chance to review, so they did get this. I think I postponed Rob to get this out because I was late. Time to go. So,
Make the motion to approve.
there we go. We got Dolly with the motion to approve. Do we have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye, wave your hand. Anybody opposed? Just throw that out there. All right, that is approved and moving on. Now we got our financial report for April enclosed by Colin.
Okay, everyone. So in April, we were at, on our overall budget, we were 65% expended. And in the prior year, we were at 84% expended on our overall budget. Our admin comes in around 93% spent through April as compared to 92% in the prior year. Our adult expenditures were about 43%, and we were 100% expended by this time last year. And dislocated worker expenses were at 51% compared to 41% in the prior year. And our youth was at 63% compared to 103% in the prior year. And on our youth work experience requirement, we are at 24% on that. So anybody has any questions? Let me know.
Just a clarification, Colin, we talked about this in the finance meeting. That 24%, we're 4% positive beyond what we require.
We're in good shape right now.
Yeah, so I just wanted to verify that we're not 24% of 100%, we are 4% over what we require. So with that, for April, anybody got questions? Comments?
I can ask, if you don't mind, John.
Please.
I wasn't here at the last meeting, so I apologize. It's my ignorance there. But on the adult expenditures just being at 43%, is there a reason that when that line or?
It's just, so far this year, we've just kind of strapped down and tried to, what our budget was gained toward is serving people with the least expenses possible this year. and with an eye towards having a rollover into the next year, a carryover. So, that probably by the end of June, maybe we'll be about 60-70% on that. But it's looking like we're gonna have a good surplus to carry into next year, so we can do a whole lot more with those funds.
Very good, thank you.
And just to be clear, none of the funds that we're talking about here are set to expire until June of 2025. So everything is, yeah, we've still got a whole other plan here to use those
Well, we
funds.
need that time span then, don't we? That's
That's
very
right.
good. Thank you.
Yes, we need a vote on this. Or just anything to say? Vote on this one? Okay. So look for a motion to approve the April financial report.
Motion.
We got a first and a second, all at the same time. All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Throw that out there. I think we're kind of a good team there. Okay, that moves forward. Next was review and approval of the budget for fiscal year 25, and that's enclosed. And again, that's, well, it's my fault this time.
All right. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm hopefully sharing my screen too, so this could make it a little easier for everybody. But on the screen is our fiscal year 25 budgets. That's July 1st of 2024 through June 30th of 2025. Starting at the top is our revenue, our allocations that we're going to receive. So the very first row here at the top is what we're going to receive July 1st of 2024 and October 1st of 24. And these are based on estimates given to us by ELC, what they think they're going to give us through the year. So that total is 3.3 million. So it's 3,321,519 at the end here. And this budget also broken down into the categories of administrative expenses, adult, dislocated worker, and youth. So I'm going to go down this fifth column here, which is the total budget, which just summarizes the first four. Next is our carryover, as Colin just touched on. This is from our earlier allocations that came from 2023. So this is what we're estimating due to the budgeting and restrictions, that Equus did a great job on strapping down. We worked smarter, not harder, as Mike Riley likes to say. We do have a carryover estimated of 1.1 million. That is, again, kind of to the beginning of the fiscal year, this 25, we typically have to operate on carryover. So we do typically want to have about half of our total allocations, usually half or a little bit less, to roll into the next fiscal year. That's because even though these do say July and October, we typically actually don't see those notice of funding agreements until later on. So it says July, but we won't see the NFA until maybe August or September sometimes. So we do want to have some carryover to operate as normal. So that's why we do have this 1.1. So our total funding for this fiscal year is 4.5 million. The next section is our operating costs, and that is just for the staff and operating of the ad. This total budget down here is $1.4 million that we think we estimate we need. This does include the 6% increase in our insurance this year, as well as the staff adjustments internally. Another line item of note is this Career Center line. So we do have new agreements at several career centers. So we are now, the ad is picking up the cost of utilities, as well as shared spaces. So that line item did bump up from last year's budget. And then finally, the next two sections, program delivery costs and one-stop operator costs, that is actually Equus's budget. So what we do is we estimate every year what the ad requires to operate, and then we do pass on the funding to Equus. So what has happened is this past week, we estimated our budget internally at the ad, and we gave Equus their estimates on the 29th of May. So these totals will not change. This 1.58 and this 104,000, The total of that will not change. However, these line items in between may shift around based on what Equus decides they need and what their needs are for the program. But the total will not change again. So we're estimating with our total allocation, our total expenses, which is down here of 3.1 million, we think that we're going to have 1.3 million to carry over into the next fiscal year. Now, I know that's probably a lot in confusion, but is there any questions specifically on that? Hopefully that made some sense.
Anybody got questions about this? I think Mike is covered pretty well. All right, nobody's saying anything, Michael, so I think you've explained. Anybody want to add to this or have a question? Just for one more time.
I would just say, as we reviewed this in the finance committee meeting, we asked a lot of questions here about what these are and how I think to the earlier question of making sure we had plenty of funds to kind of take us through the period of time before the state actually, sends the money over and everything else. So that this, as the finance committee, we did review and approve it, but definitely don't want to get in the way of other board questions.
What was the question over here? Matt was talking. What would you say?
I was just, he said staff adjustments, is that based on this cost of living for staff labor? Okay, thanks, yeah, cost of labor.
Yeah, but Matt did do a fine job, looking at this, and the finance committee, all good. You good? Everybody good? So look for a motion to approve the budget for 2025. Weird to say 2025 already.
Yeah, so
Got one, I got a second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
And we got review and approval of direct service provider for their fiscal year 2025, and Tiffany's up.
Yeah, so, this is one of the years, and I'm gonna call on Stacy, because this is one of the parts that I'm still fully learning as in my new role. We have the option to just extend the contract for this upcoming program year, but next year it will have to be RFP'd out, right, Stacy? I got that right, all right. So, in it, this is what this is just, the one page that you'll find is the notice of the contract amendment. We just made the amendment. It would carry over for the year, for the next program year. But we do also have the performance metrics, right? We always connect because Equus does, get incentivized for performance. So we always work with Todd, to help get metrics on there. The only thing that has changed, the one-stop operator metrics remain the same. On the page that is the adult dislocated worker, businesses and youth, we adjusted the master agreement renewal. In previous years, it had been 75%. I don't think it's fair, because we know that with things that happened last year, services stopped and all that stuff. At one point, there was Todd, when Kevin there was 6 of you all, right? And we weren't doing any enrollments. Therefore, you can't, to me, penalize them and say, there was an issue that you did not cause, but you gotta maintain the same standard that we want. So, and on those master agreements, instead of just going out and going to every business that we can, the goal is to target, right? In previous years, I know, that Mike would always talk about, well, we had 180 master agreements, but that was just to get those, right? It wasn't targeting the businesses that really want to work with us, that want to work with our clients and all that stuff. So that's why that has been adjusted to 25%. And then we also added that for our business service team to partner with organizations to host career and resource fairs of 5 per business service consultant per year. So that's them going out and setting up to do outreach, job fairs, be it resource fairs and things like that. So that's the only 2 things that we adjusted on the metrics. So, and we can change it if you want us to, but.
So separating those out, I'm sorry.
Yeah, as far as you said, five.
The 5 was never there on them doing, career fairs or resource fairs. It was never in there. And the reality of it is our business service team, it's connecting individuals to jobs, right? So I think that's I'll argue it if you want to get rid of that. So that's a very important metric, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I know that you know. So yeah, that metric wasn't there at all. It was just an assumption that they were gonna, and they always have. Right? But we also know that if you tie an incentive to it, it's always a good thing as well. So,
Matt, you had some.
yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I think if we separate this out into 2 things, question 1 is, are these the right performance metrics? Is that question 1? And then question 2 is, should we extend them for another year?
Correct.
Yeah. And I mean, so my take is that, I mean, I would rely on you for the right metrics. Did they obtain, I mean, it was a crazy year, I know, last year, but how did everybody hit the metrics? Were all the metrics hit for as expected for last year?
So everything other than the business services was fully hit last year, right? But here's the thing, you can't penalize them because as board staff, we told them, do not get the master agreements, right? Do not get them because we're not providing services. So
Yeah.
while,
I can cover it a little bit on that.
if you want to, right?
So the reason we told them to stop getting the master agreements is because if you're not placing, if you're not putting them in the work-based learning, if you're not putting it in the work-based, the adult, dislocated worker, those funds that we kind of put in hold for during that time frame, if we're not doing any internship, there's no purpose of us going back out and contacting businesses. So when we told them to stop, it was because there was no sense of us saying, hey, look, we're gonna get an agreement, but then in return, we're gonna tell them we're not gonna bring nobody to you either. We were still placing individuals for direct hires if companies wanted to do that. We were still communicating with those businesses. If we had an average Joe come into the streets saying, hey, look, I'd like to work here. I mean, it wasn't like we weren't communicating with the businesses. We just weren't obtaining agreements to put them in the work-based learning programs that we have, whether it's OJT or work-based or any program.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing the point. I would agree with you on the point that if we've come back and changed you can't change the rules like once and expect somebody to hit a target if you're changing the target or changing the rules around the target. So I agree with you. I think that's completely fine. I wasn't sure if you were asking for like a motion to approve these metrics as one statement, and if so, I think that's, I'll make that motion. But secondly, if we've got a company that we've got a good relationship with, they've been flexible with us, they're hitting the performance metrics, that it's logical to me that we should continue with them and then just go through the RFP next year. There's no incentive for me to go drive a lot of change and churn earlier in the process than necessary.
Correct.
Thank you, Matt. So it sounds like, it's twofold for this approval process. I do like this, on the service and replacement, 75% of shops they can obtain interviews within 3
And listen on that
That's
metric.
kind of high.
They hit that metric. The only metric was with the MA renewals, and that, like I said, that's not their fault.
Yeah.
Right? That's something that put in place because of how the funds got and stuff last year.
I like it, but I was concerned about the 75%, I think that's kind of high.
They could-
Okay. All right. They're good with it.
So I will say, with all the DSP staff, they work together well, the business service team with Rowley, the case managers, or the TDSs. they all work well together to where if Billy Bob does walk in, right, they're gonna help him get a job. So they rely on each other, and that's a very good thing. They've always worked as wonderfully with us. Anything I know since I became director, anytime that I've had an idea with something, I sit down with Todd and Jennifer, and we figure out if there's holes in my ideas, how to make it better. If they have an idea, they come to me. So they're good.
And I'll speak on the partnership end of it. I mean, because I'm in careers, there'll be multiple careers in the weekly. We work great with Todd, his staff, Jennifer, her staff. They've been fantastic. So I don't know if we're voting on extending it, but I would vote to extend.
And I know one thing, when us, the career center here, when we get fully staffed, we're too short. We just brought somebody on board a couple of days ago. We got another one. And our intent, even the leader, as part of the business service, that's a JBSG staff that works with veterans and they're in out with employers. But our intent is actually to put one of the Wagner Pfizer staff on that business services team. And that will even help it even greater, once we're fully staffed.
Awesome.
And Steve's sitting right here and he can vouch for that because, you know, once we get fully staffed, that's our goal.
If or when. All right. Any more comments, questions? I think we've got some good understanding what the request is. And I've got a comfort level with keeping our current actions going.
Yeah.
And each next year when the RFP is required, we'll hope for the same winner. I'm gonna just throw it out there. So with that, Matt, you eloquently put together what this actually is to vote. Would you?
Yeah, so I'll make the motion then to approve the metrics, and let's get through that first, and we can do the extension.
Okay, so we'll do two different ones here. Sounds like two plans. So the metrics is up for a motion, which Matt has said. So a motion second. Second for the metrics. All in favor of the metrics? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Throw that out there. That one moves forward. And then, secondly,
Yeah, then I'll make the motion then that we extend them for another year. And then, I mean, with full knowledge, of course, that we will be having to go through an RFP next year.
motion's been made by Matt. Second.
Second.
Got second, third, fourth, fifth. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. That moving forward with good discussion and understanding. Okay. Review and approval of the one-stop operator.
That's
Oh,
connected with
that's
it.
connected. We're
Yep.
done too.
It's me.
All right.
I think we need a separate vote. I think we need a separpe vote on it. 'Cause
We
it's
did.
not-
Did we not?
No, we did metrics and then we did DSP.
Oh, okay. One-stop operator.
I don't know about that one stop.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of shit.
All right, so
So
then a
you-
motion then to approve the one-stop operator as well.
You gonna make that, Matt?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Matt. We're gonna approve Todd, yeah. A second?
I guess I'll second.
All right. I'm still kind of thinking he's a little shaky, but I'll in favor. Not much discussion. Yeah. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? I want to keep no opposed. Okay. All right, so Todd is approved. All right, so now we have our setup fall conference, attendees in Savannah, Georgia, coming up in September 15th through the 18th. I'm excited about it. Tiffany, tell us what's the thoughts here.
So normally we have budgeted for 2 board members, to attend for each one of the setas. I know Ryan had reached out early.
Yeah, I mean.
There's nothing bad.
But I mean, there may be
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
One of the other board members had already reached out. So we were just trying to get an idea of who all wanted to attend. We may be able to adjust if we have a couple others that would like to go. So, but that's it, we just wanted to know which.
Dolly has to.
Dolly always goes.
She's on the regular board.
You're right, you are on board, aren't you?
Yeah.
She's on the national board, yes.
So, so Ryan's in the hat, we got one more definite, and then that's open, right?
Because registration will start happening pretty soon, that's the only reason, you know what I mean?
So,
Yeah, I'll be asking Jason, what the intent for CEO would be,
Okay.
yeah, before I actually say. Here.
So Robin, what? I like maybe what, the end of June? Tell me when registration, I can't remember.
I feel like it's coming very,
I'd
we've
say-
already started
We'll
getting.
say the 15th of June. That gives 2
so
weeks.
5 days, or 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've already been getting emails saying we'll be opening soon.
Because we have, the hotel's the big thing that we have to get in real quick.
So we got Ryan down, Ryan, you're good, right?
Yeah,
Represents,
but I would absolutely represent, but it's always, you know, there's a process in state government, so I have to fill out a state training request. But if the board says, hey, we want, that would be better, so. And we can,
Okay.
so.
So if anyone else is interested, email me and let me know by the 15th.
Yeah.
And I'll let John know and Dr.
If
Tiffany.
we get a bunch, that's fine if we do. We may have to draw names, you know, and we'll do that anonymously.
Right.
Right.
And Tiffany, if it helps you as far as staff, I can say Department of Labor, I just got back from the board meeting. They're gonna do 8 sessions. They're bringing tons of people this time. They're gonna have the fireside chat. They're gonna have a representative there from UI. They're gonna do 2 sessions on finance.
I adjusted, whenever I worked with Michael on our budget, just because we knew that the reauthorization may come through, we set it up to where there was funding there for more board staff to go, so that they could come back and train the ESPs.
But
Yeah.
they'll have 8 sessions and
Okay.
based on those is. Or what's it?
We definitely want as many of our staff to go.
Yeah.
And then whoever from our board members want to go, let Robin know. And again, whoever wants to go, just say you want to go. But realize if you've never been, it is a commitment of time. Show us on Sunday, it's all the way through Wednesday. It's in Savannah, Georgia. With the funding, are we flying people or travel arrangements? Do we know as far as how much funds that is?
I'll have to check out the airfares. Sometimes it is cheaper, so I'll do the comparison.
So travel arrangements is part of the funding.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
and it's
Oh,
usually
yes, yes, yes.
whichever is cheaper.
Yeah.
That's usually what we do.
But-
So,
Let me give you a little secret there.
okay.
The last one I booked, this last one, when I initially looked, it was $850.
For the hotel?
Airfare.
Airfare.
I booked it one way and then one way back, $535.
Oh, that's a good savings.
So just check it out.
Yeah.
Now I went Delta and then I come back American. But it takes a little more time. It might be worth it.
Okay. So as far as this, we just need the vote that you're approving board members to go.
Yeah, okay, so motion, and I'm gonna tag you in, motion to, what is it, to approve board members to go. How many board members right now is 2, and if funding changes, we will re-look at this, but, so whoever wants to go. So looking for a motion.
Make a motion.
He makes a motion. Dolly made a motion. So look for a second for the SETA conference, September 15th through 18th, board members to go.
Yes.
You should, okay. His name. Look for a second.
Second.
Second, all in favor for board members to go? Aye. Okay, and again, Robin will be the, person to contact, put your name in the hat, and we will do an anonymous drawing if we get a bunch of names, so don't worry. Okay? Our last action item is policy update and work-based learning policy enclosed by Kevin. And by the way, Kevin, I heard, today is his birthday. So happy birthday, Kevin.
Well, thank you. Shane, have a birthday and lose your hearing on the same. It's because of number changes on that thing.
Yeah.
According to, how?
I'll take care of it.
All right, thanks. Those you don't know, Todd and I have been linked together for quite some time. Okay, so on a work-based learning policy, all I've done is, with the help of the amazing Stacy May, I've, added some things to this policy. It's on the 4th page under policies, item E there. It says, one thing I wanted to add is occupations that are not eligible. You know, so include the following but are not limited to. We've had this come up a little bit, and, you know, we never want to do occupations dependent on commission as the primary source of income, because how do we pay that? Occupation that involves driving a vehicle, occupation that involves carrying a firearm, and then occupations where supervision and monitoring is not available. So we don't want to put somebody in a WEX and then be the closing person all by themselves. They're supposed to have supervision at all times. So, we had the security place ask about it. If we do that, we don't want to do firearms, you know, the liability and everything on those kind of things is just way too much to consider. That's the other reason about driving a vehicle, you know, be involved in that kind of thing.
Clarify, Kevin, driving vehicle would be the occupation,
Right,
not the, you know, at will,
Right.
vehicle type thing, right?
right. Because somebody wants us to do a tow truck. You know, we don't want guys operating, doing delivery
Right.
also, you know, just, there's too much there.
I'm just want to clarify that because we, you know, like the positions I would have open is not driving vehicle, but they may need to drive a vehicle from point A to point B.
Right, right. So,
In their daily activity.
how do you want to change the wording on that?
I would say as a primary,
Operator?
yeah. Or the primary.
And help me on that too, because I think, didn't we help a lot of people get their commercial driver's license? I mean, haven't we done things like that? The other three seem fine, but that one confused me because there might be a number of, even a plumber that has to go make, you know, residential house calls would drive a vehicle.
But we wouldn't be doing a plumber as a WEX. It would be the plumber's assistant. So if he would be driving the company's vehicle, I wouldn't think.
Well,
to that
I got you, just,
Yeah, you're
not,
good.
that's their primary thing,
Yeah.
but we would, the same like with the plumbers, with what I do.
Right,
Our employees would take the company vehicle and, hey, we got 4 or 5 different buildings, space across, take this vehicle over there and grab stuff for us, bring it back.
right,
But that's not their job.
Right.
That's not their job. The job is actually to do work, but we gotta go get the material.
right,
That type of thing.
right. So we can, I mean, do you want to change the wording to
As a primary function.
just drive the vehicle as a primary function, as the primary function?
Yes. Cause I want my people to be able to drive one of our vehicles, right? But not, that's not our job. We don't drive vehicles. If we use vehicles, we get stuff moved.
So as the primary function of their job title, or?
There's something in there that gives the wiggle room for, like,
Right.
you talk about the plumber, Matt, talked about the plumber, plumber's assistant will still drive the plumber's vehicle.
Right. Right. So,
Hey Tiff, would I be able to give some context to it?
Yes.
Please.
Okay, I'll turn my camera off because my internet always terrible, but, so whenever we do put participants into a paid work experience or an internship, they become employees of us, so they're on our payroll and we're liable for workers' comp and all of that. So the reason we didn't want to put work experience participants as driving, for example, would be that if they were driving a van full of other participants in recovery, they had an accident. So we have 8 participants that we're liable for that all have to go to the hospital, for example. So we'll still pay for a lot of people to get like CDL license. We can still pay for plumbers to get certified and licensed. We just don't want to assume the liability for participants out driving when they're on the clock under our payroll. So,
Let me just understand this I'm an employer, so, When we're on the WEX program, okay, that's a time period. And that would be like an agreement. They're not gonna drive the vehicle, and I'm okay with that. I was thinking more of a broader sense.
No, just during the West.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
during
okay.
those 480 hours. And then like the security team wanted us to add security positions, and that would mean that we would have someone on our payroll that was carrying a gun. And we just
Okay.
didn't want to assume that liability for the 480 hours because if accidents happen, you know, God forbid, but it would be a legal issue for us.
Okay, I would withdraw my first reaction to that, because now that it's conditioned to just that time period, I'm okay.
Yeah, and the example that Jennifer gave is one that we had come up. And so when I talked with the employer, my advice to him was, if you feel like this person's been there long enough to start driving your participants around and transporting clients, maybe that's when we need to end the internship and you hire them all,
Right.
you know, full time. So
Right.
try them out up until the point that you need them to do that kind of thing. And so that was kind
So,
of.
you know, if you provided, somebody provided the agreement for Wes.
Correct.
Just put that on their Wes contract agreement.
Yeah.
Or what? During that time, they don't drive a vehicle, a company vehicle.
Right.
Because they can still, like, you're gonna have people that are driving golf carts. I mean, we're gonna.
There's so many different motorized vehicles that's possible in one trade now.
So, like, don't drive a vehicle.
Any vehicle.
And so, and then the other part, we added, because this is a change in the procedure also. And I took this, from kind of the training, on-the-job training. Is that the highlight, next section is about that they have to complete a training outline. Previously, when we did Lexus, that was not a requirement. We've made it a requirement now, but I thought it should be in the policy. That, they have to turn in the training outline, so the job description must accurately reflect the duties of that job, not just what is listed in ONET or the dictionary of occupational titles. The training outline should identify skills to be acquired for the actual job, and they should be converted into action terms. Example, a job description that originally says typing, filing, data processing on a computer should be revised to read, learn to type business letters and business reports on a computer, learn to maintain the civics filing system, learn the basics of Microsoft Office program. Training outline and job description will be provided by the employer. The business services manager will ensure that these are in compliance with the board policy. And those are the items that I'm asking to be added to this policy.
With my new understanding, I have no concerns. Does anybody else have concerns?
Making a motion to update the work-based learning policy with said condition.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Now we get into informational items. We got session feedback, having an informed board. Talk to us.
In your packet, you will find this right here, and it's where, this last set that was in Cherokee, North Carolina, Stacy and Mike Riley presented on having an informed board, which is about our joint training that we do and all that. I just wanted everybody to know how good they did. You know, that's just what it is. So, because if you'll look, you had so many strongly agrees and agrees. For those who have went to a SETA or had to go to a conference, that you sign up for a session and then you sit there and you think, oh my God, the paint is melting off the wall, right? Because it's so dull. It doesn't give you the information that you need. I just wanted everybody to realize, the board to realize the good work that Stacy and Mike had done on the fact that you had so many strongly agrees and agrees that the information that they got was valuable to them.
Yeah, as somebody that does this for a living, I mean, all these sessions, this is wonderful feedback. You typically do not have this percentage of good feedback. So kudos to Stacy and Mike on doing this.
Yeah. And yeah, John and I, well, you can read the summary, you were both in there, jam-packed room. I don't think I've ever been in a conference where, you know, you didn't have 3 or 4 seats in between you, but, and just to add, and I already shared this with at the other meeting, but the president of SETA actually spoke very highly of their presentation and said it's, great job.
We're awesome, we know. So now we just got some proof behind it, right?
Right, trouble now.
All right, we got comprehensive certification of Lexington Career Center location. I've been waiting on something awesome.
All right, so since Connie's folks have moved in, that leads us to needing to get certified. Ryan's got his staff here part-time. We've got some other partners that are here part-time. So the next step is to go ahead and file for that certification. I've got the application completed. We do have to go through an ADA compliance check. There's a couple small things they wanted to check off. So I've been working with Larry Perkins, with the state. For instance, they wanted to cut the handicap ramp painted in blue. They came in and did that this week. So he's already working on knocking off those few little things. But once we get the ADA compliance letter, we'll submit the application to you guys, to the board, and we'll have to put together a certification committee. They'll come in, they'll talk to myself, they'll talk to the staff. Typically, it's a one-day thing, and then they issue the approval for the board to move forward. So we're just kind of waiting on this ADA compliance letter. I've got the application done, so once that's completed, we'll put together a certification committee, and then ultimately that guy will send you all.
So within the next 3 months.
I'd say probably sooner than that. Also.
Good. Any questions? Next one is website inclusive and accessibility. Stacy. See her.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, sorry. All right, I am going to, let's see, hopefully be able to share my screen. Give me just a moment. Okay, so I recently attended, and I believe the executive committee, I've already gone over it with the executive committee, but for everyone else, I attended a public information officer training with Kentucky Council of Ads, and they were able to provide some wonderful information. Let me see. Is that sharing now?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. So you'll see down here in the bottom, we are using a company called Accessiby, and Accessiby allows the website to stay in its current state, but now becomes compliant for individuals with various types of accessibility issues. And you'll see if you click on the little icon down here, you'll see that people can choose the options that they need and turn them on and off as needed. So I was interested that they have things like an ADHD friendly profile, things like that, to help individuals, as well as the standards kind of accessibility additions. This service has been added to both the Kentucky Career Center website and, as you see, to the Bluegrass Workforce Innovation Board's website. It not only meets but exceeds the ADA compliance standard of I think it's called an A standard. We are considered a AA standard for accessibility now, thanks to this wonderful little addition to our website. But I just wanted to provide everybody with that update. We're very pleased with that, because my experience and discussions with some external companies who do not have that, there's apparently like lawyers that spend their time going out and finding websites that don't have the accessibility compliance and suing companies for it. So we've been very lucky so far. And but now not only that, it does add that level of accessibility to individuals we may not previously have been able to serve and not realize we weren't able to serve them. So protects us in multiple levels and provides additional service. Does anybody have any questions?
Who is that company again? Sorry, they help the data side.
The company is called Accessiby. There's a couple of different companies, but as far as like pricing and the service provided, they all fall relatively in line. And this was the same company that other ads have been using, and that's the reason we chose to go with them. So,
Stacy, could you send Arlene, the link for their website so that she could give some?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'll send that link on over.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Selfishly as well, does this include a language translation program as well?
That is a good question. I am not exactly sure. There were several accessibility things that it was able to provide that I had not gone over every one of them. It does not look like that part is included.
Okay.
So, okay. So no, it does not look like that's included in that.
Okay. Any other questions, Tracy, about that? I think I want to play with it. I'll put it on the website when I get that and play with that, just to see all the functions of it. This is the blind part of it, that's pretty.
ADHD.
But ADHD one. I'll see how that function out and what it does, so what the difference is. Cool. Thank you, Stacy. Anyone else has questions about that?
Thank you.
Okay. Next update item is the Bluegrass Chemical Agent Destruction.
So, as you guys are aware, we applied, or it has been a team effort to apply for the National Dislocated Worker Grant that we have been working towards. The first time that it was submitted, they came back and they had some key points that they wanted us to focus on. This past go around has been submitted. We haven't received anything back from LaTanya, who is the federal project officer that we've been working with the grant. So our assumption is that everything probably checked out on her end, that everything that was submitted. So hopefully we hear something back soon from them to see where we're at with it and you know, what our next steps on our part. In addition to the National Dislocated Worker Grant that we're working with, we have been working with the folks continuously. It's been a step-by-step type of method. There has been a lot of hands involved, so I hope I don't leave anybody out. But I will say it has truly been a team effort from top to bottom. So anywhere from the folks at the Career Center in Richmond, they have been working with those individuals visiting the Career Center, whether they're receiving resume assistance, whether they're working towards the process of being enrolled in our adult funding with WIOA. And then obviously, hopefully, when we get the National Dislocated Worker Grant, fingers crossed, then that would be an additional amount of funding that we can play with and help those folks out. In addition to that, we have been providing rapid response services to the folks that have been impacted. There has been a total of 5 sessions that we have completed up to date. There has been 6 scheduled, but one of them they canceled, but they're up to date. There has been 5 sessions that we completed up to date. Todd's been doing a good job leading those sessions. The biggest thing, I believe this last one, which was yesterday, I believe it's it was yesterday. The big thing, and Steve, and I gotta give Steve a round of applause, but Steve attends those meetings and, you know, he usually has the hard part because he's answering the unemployment questions that they have. And I think that the biggest part yesterday was, you know, where's my money? Since, I believe since February, where they haven't received those fundings, but, you know, Steve did a good job answering those questions, the best he could. But up to this point, really, it's just trying to, provide them. And if you guys don't know what rapid response really quick is, it's an involvement of different partners that we work with. A lot of those partners are here with the Kentucky Career Center, but it's providing an informational session to them of what's available and what are next steps. Trying to make that layoff a little bit easier on those folks that are being impacted. So usually that includes the Career Development Office providing unemployment insurance information, but also the Department of Labor, the Benefits Division, they're there to provide, COBRA information and retirement and what's next in their part. But also, the other folks that we work with within the Kentucky Career Center, they usually attend those meetings to provide what resources they have available. And that includes our WIO staff as well to provide Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act type of services. So at this point, we're just working with those folks that are being impacted. The doors are open in the Richmond office, so they're welcome to come at any time and receive any type of services that they're seeking. Does anybody have any questions?
You don't have any kind of numbers that you're seeing, like how many of these are being laid off that are using the service?
So,
Jennifer might be.
Jennifer may be able to answer that, because she might be in front of a computer right offhand. And Jennifer, has been doing a good job. Whenever those folks come in, we actually have because with the National Dislocated Worker Grant, we have a dedicated, Teams page where we keep track of a lot of this information, just for that very reason, how many people have gone through the program and whatnot. So Jennifer may be able to provide those numbers right offhand. If not, then I can,
I can pull those and have them to you in just a couple minutes, really.
I will say those first 5 sessions that we've done have not been the large waves that we'll see further,
As you get
So
further.
a lot of the folks that you're seeing right now is really just kind of like, if you had a dart chart, you're kind of seeing a lot of the trickle effects right now. And then towards, I don't know, Kevin was with me during that career fair we had with them. I think a lot of them is gonna be the beginning of 2025, and then you're gonna see a whole lot during 2026. And then after those years are up, you're gonna see another little trickle effect towards the end as well. But the majority of that stuff, you're not gonna see a whole lot of the impact towards the beginning of 2025, and then probably towards the beginning of 2026.
I don't think we've had a session yet out of those 5 that has been over 20 people.
And that means a bunch to be impacted, right?
Yeah, so there's a lot, so we know there'll be a lot more coming, better, a lot bigger groups.
Yeah.
And how much is the grant for?
But in 2.6. Is what we
We're
have.
waiting for that to be
We're waiting,
released,
well-
or even approved, right?
Right, we're waiting for it to be approved, but look, whenever we submitted the first one, within a week, we got back, we need to have Teams call. So we knew we had some stuff wrong on it, right? And that was fine, and it was little things. Like on one part of it, like whenever Mike submitted it, he didn't have like the last 4 numbers of the zip code, right? On another part of it, it was just, I had provided Stacy some information of just, I know what I know with acronyms and all that stuff. And, we just needed to go into more detail on it, right? So it was just little things, but like I said, I think it's really good now that, because I figured if we've done something wrong, we'd have got back real quick, which is good, you know what I mean? Because LaTanya's been awesome.
She's
Working
been
with
working
us.
hand in hand with us, and she's been letting us
Yeah.
know what's her last name?
Lowry,
Okay.
L-W-E-R-Y. So yeah, but it was 2.6. We've got supportive services built in there. We've got, for anybody that's seeking a credential. And we've also got a bulk of it to be OJT and work experience, work-based learning opportunities. So, and so far, the few people that we have had come through, if I'm not mistaken, Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong, they're looking at just short, quick certifications, right? Because these aren't, most of these individuals have skills, right? But they just needed quick certification. We've had a couple that wanted CDLs, but it's not gonna be, I don't see that we'll spend more than 6,000 on any one person. It'll shock me if we did with what we've already seen them asking for.
Jennifer, would you able to pull that up?
Yeah, I have the numbers. And Tiff, you're right. Most of them are wanting and needing just a short-term stackable credentials. So we're not going to be spending a lot per participant. But we have had 10 meetings with their leadership team. And so those meetings were mostly like Tiff and Rolly and Todd. So 10 leadership meetings with their leadership, 2 job fairs, 5 rapid response, and 51 job seeker referrals.
And I will add that the Career Center doors have been open, and I know you guys are aware of this, but every Friday, and it doesn't have to be on Fridays, but every Friday, there always has been a staff member dedicated to them. They can just come in there at any time and, you know, that's kind of open just for them. But they can come at any point to the Richmond Career Center and talk to a staff member. So they don't have to wait on the NWG.
Right.
So just to clarify that too.
On the next one,
Yes.
Jamie's, 6:10.
Okay. Okay, our next one, and unless someone wants to ask Rolly another question, I think Rolly's covered it pretty well, but Todd, you've done everything you can, right? And then some. All good with that? That sounds like a story that will just keep on going for a while. So we're gonna tag in Robin and talk about our next thing, which is transfer VR, new simulations, training courses, and safety sims.
So May 1st, we had an update of what's available, and we have a lot more of the little sims in the career exploration. The new packet is, new transfer packet is in our packet, so you'll see that. The second page in there has everything broken down by job sectors. It's got 6 job sectors and a little bit of description of what's in those. And then the next pages show all the extra simulations that they've added. We had like, I think it was 8 or 9, and now there's 24. So quite a few additions to that. A couple of the ones that are popular, there's an EV battery installation one, which is kind of accurate for the times right now.
What's that? What's that?
Under the last one, transportation, distribution, and logistics. They redid the oil change to make it a shorter one. There's one that they're actually blowing up, an underpass. Been pretty popular with the kids. Of course, right? And of course, the kids love the knee surgery, which is very bloody. There's also I think the car crash one where the blood splatters on them when they do the thing. So those have been really popular. And then I know Jeremy just wanted to give everyone a reminder with the summer, like this week and next week, we have things booked because we're doing a medical day camp at BCTC. But after that, the summer is really slowing down. So if anybody wants us to come out for a training course or do the safety sims,
When the date will be open, what date?
I don't, but I know from talking to Jeremy that he only has like a few,
It's a
very few. So chances are the dates would be open.
Well,
like,
I'd like to reserve the first week of July for some time.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we can. Hey guys, I'm actually here. We can do that. We've got after next week. I don't think there's actually really anything for a while, so we can certainly do that. I've got the only thing I've got in June after next week is on the 25th, and then July. I've got something on July 11th, and that's all I've got for July. So those.
The first, second, and third is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of July. You pick a day and come back to the same place you were there last year.
Okay, yeah, we could do that.
You was last year.
Because one thing that I was gonna point out, like, one of our judge executives had Jeremy come in and had her staff do, like, she had a staff meeting and all that stuff, but they did the VR simulations as a team building thing. So.
We actually did that. We actually did that twice, Tiff. We did that in Mercer and in Bull.
Well, so yeah.
And
Speaking.
Speaking to the, also speaking to the extra simulations, so like Robin said, they just added 12 new simulations, and in August they're going to add 7 more. I've got a list of those. I'll provide to you guys, and as well as there 14 of the existing simulations are getting Spanish language options.
Oh, there you go.
That's good.
Yes.
And we do now have captions available.
Yes.
It's nice.
Right.
But yeah, as Tiff said, if any of you guys want to connect with me and schedule some time to check them out, or if you've got an organization that you think could benefit from them, just email me or send them my way.
If I get time next week, I'll send you an email. Get that.
Sounds great.
Scheduled in.
Plans for him to come back during our joint meeting. I thought that was very successful. Everybody getting the crowd out. Is everybody crowded out?
Yeah.
He'll be there.
That's cool.
I killed my patient at least 5 times, so.
That's okay. I've flooded a town every time I've done the broadband drill, the drilling a line for broadband. I flood the town every time I hit that water pipe, every single time.
That could be some fun. Since Jeremy's online, we got Robin in here. Does anybody got questions or Jeremy or Robin? Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Robin.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so now direct service provider from Jennifer.
Hello, can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, camera's gonna stay off. The last meeting that I had with Tip and Riley, they laughed at me the whole time because I kept freezing up. So I'll spare you all. It was.
Was student stutter too?
But so I'll start by saying happy birthday, Kevin Moore. Kevin is by far the glue that holds us together. Like, we go to him all day, every day. He's so supportive of me and Crystal and all of our 1,000 questions. So Kevin, happy birthday. And then in your April report, in the packet, you'll have your April report, which shows 76 enrollments for the program year. And when we completed our budget for July through June, we budgeted and anticipated to enroll about 100 to 120 participants based on the funding. And so we're right on track to be right in the middle of that number. So we're exactly where we want to be. But obviously you all know this, I need to say it out loud as well, but we serve far more than 76 participants in this program year. I mean, we serve job seekers each and every day at our offices, and we call those basic career services. So those are just people that walk in, need assistance with resume, job leads, practicing interviews, whatever. So that number is definitely not represented there on paper, but we track it at the end of each program year, of course. But so we're right on track with our enrollment numbers. We're right on track with where we wanted to be with spending. We have slowly built back our team this year with TIF's approval. And so we are pretty close to being fully staffed and ready to kick off the July program year. We are active in all of our counties. Our business service team and case manager team are all out and about every day. So the case manager team, they are touching bases with libraries, adult eds, the schools, recovery centers, just any community partner. They're providing workshops out into the counties. In several of the counties, they were out in April, and then we provide 2 virtual workshops every week that anybody can join from our CKY website. And then 3 of the bigger projects, and Tiff will probably mention this in her report, but like Rolly mentioned, like, we're heavily involved with the Army Depot folks. We received approval for our Quest grant, and that's a partnership between Shepherd's House, and we were able to sign the master agreement with Clay Ingalls just the past few days. So we're ready to start waxing some Shepherd's House recovery folks over at Clay Ingalls. So that's a special grant that we have that covers 2 years. So we received our first 2 referrals for that grant this week, actually. And then the third kind of big project that we're working on is an initiative that we're partnering with BCTC in Estill County. And so Tiff may mention that one, but we're going to be training up some CDL folks in Estill. And then the packet will also show you that our business service team was super busy the month of April, which March, April, May is always our job fair season for the business team. And so they were really active. I counted up that they had done job fairs in Estill, Franklin, Harrison, Fayette, Scott, Boyle, and Madison in the month of April. So, I mean, that is hands and feet on the ground every day serving those counties. And in a couple of those counties, there was multiple job fairs. So like Madison, we had 2 days of Army Depot job fairs. Okay, and then it also lists out some of the employer meetings that the business team has. So, you know, we say at the KCC we have 2 customers. We serve the job seekers that walk through the door, and then we serve the employers that have hiring needs. And so both of those teams are equally busy every day. And then this month, we have 4 success stories. I figured Matt would really like that. But I think that the reason we have 4 is because TIF has incentivized success stories, so they're all fighting for a prize. But the first one listed is a really big one. It was a huge job fair in Danville. It was called Develop Danville Regional Job Fair, and there was nearly 500 job seekers and 57 employers, and that is a massive job fair for Boyle County. And so the staff that attended and helped work that were super excited about the impact that they were able to make. The second success story is just a job seeker that we were going to enroll and do a WEX with at a recovery center. But the recovery center wanted them to be a driver. And so that's where the whole driver WEX thing came into play this month. But we, you know, we're really hesitant about letting them get in the car and be a driver and driving around other folks in recovery. So the recovery center just said, send them my way, I'll hire them directly. So I think that reflects a really good, strong partnership that we have with that recovery center. We were able to get that participant hired on. And then the third one is where Todd and Rolly and Tamara worked really close with Clay Ingalls. So that's the employer that we've identified that we want to start funneling our Quest grant and the Shepherd's House participants over for those paid internships. So that was a big win for us to get that employer signed as with an agreement, just because whenever we work with a recovery center, it's really difficult to put those people into WEX internships because transportation is always a huge barrier. So we need to, it's always a win to find an employer that we can like give 3 or 4 participants to this one employer. That eliminates that transportation barrier. So Clay Ingalls was a huge win for us, and that came into play because of Rolly and Todd and Tamara. And then the fourth and final success story is we participated and partnered with Nathaniel Mission and Lexington Rescue Mission for a job fair and a resource fair. And the participants left statements for us, and we've never had that before that I've seen. So I included those just because I thought it was really neat to hear exactly what they took away from it. So we had 10 participant statements. But that's my report, and if you all have any questions, feel free to ask.
Jennifer, since you and Aaron are both on today, can you let everybody know a little bit more information about that CDL initiative and how we're partnering together? Because one of the goals is to do more cohorts, right? Instead of just having people come through and random, is to try to do more cohorts. And this is where it kind of started with our first one, is this CDL initiative. So can you all go into more detail? Because you all worked really hard on this.
Yeah, I'd be happy to give an overview and then Aaron can add to it, but I can kind of tell you where it started, but I'm such a lovey, like, let's group hug person, so you all can like tell me to get back in my place if you need to, but it all started and I was in Estill County at the fiscal court meeting. I think it was in February, and it was like just a cold winter night. And Bruce Manley, who was the director at the Clark County BCTC campus, was sitting right beside of me. And I looked at him and I was like, we really need to spend some money in Estill County. Like, there's room for opportunity here. And he was like, yeah, I know. And so we started like brainstorming CDL. And I was like, we could really impact this community if we paid up some CDL drivers. And I did that knowing that Tiff's vision for us is to go toward cohorts. So Tiff has said for a long time that she wants us to pick like counties and say, okay, in Harrison County, we want to do a cohort of medical assistants, or Lincoln County, we want to do nurse aides. So Tiff's real big on cohorts and serving the counties that are underserved. So Bruce and I started brainstorming and talking, and it's, we got Kevin Moore involved and then Mara with BCTC. And so it's the orientation or the information session is going to be June 27th from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Estill County Library this month. And then the flyers went live today. Stacy did a really good job creating the flyer. So there's a little QR code on the flyer, and if someone in Estill County is interested, they click on it, and that puts them on a referral link. And I'm screening all of these referrals that are going to start coming in, and we really want to narrow it down to, we're ultimately going to pay for 6, and that's what BCTC can handle for student instructor ratio. So, and that's going to happen in the month of August. So by September, we hope to have, 6 success stories from Estill County for CDL. But it's really cool, and it's a county that we needed to work in. And we're not going to stop in Estill because Tiff's already like, we're going to go to Harrison, we're going to Nicholas, we're going to all of these other counties. So I'm super excited about it. That's pretty much it. Aaron, do you have anything else?
No, Jennifer, I think you summed it up. We're thrilled to partner, and I agree with Tiffany that the cohort model is the way to go. When you have others that are in the training with you, it kind of helps incentivize each other. They feed off of each other, and retention rates are usually better when we do the cohort model. So we're happy to continue to partner with you all any way we can on future training, additional training in other counties. Thank you.
I like it. Thank you. Yes. Okay. We're up for that shady guy there, right?
All right. So in your packets, as an report for April, we had 888 people in person at the offices here in April, 119 new referrals to the WIB program. So those numbers are back to the level of what they were last year when we were just really rolling. So with the way the funds are going to roll over in July, we're going to be able to continue assisting people because we've got a lot of new faces that are interested in the program. So next year looks great. A couple things in April, we had the Estill County's job fair at their library, Franklin County. We did a take-home job fair. We stuffed 100 bags and took them up to Franklin County. We stuffed 75 bags for Jessamine County's library. Every year in April, there's a National Library Week. We always try and partner with our libraries if they're interested in doing something with that. Franklin and Jessamine expressed interest in doing take-homes. So Tamara and Alicia and Rolly, myself, and Tiff, we got the materials together, stuffed the bags. They got delivered out to Jessamine and Franklin County. And during that library week, they distributed the bags to the patients there at the libraries. We did an in-person job there in Estill County. And then in April, we also, the last couple of years have been doing a job fair at the Success Academy. So Rolly, myself, and Alicia attended that.
Where is Success Academy?
Success Academy is over on Georgetown Road.
Here in Lexington.
And then always put together a list of all the different job fairs and VR events. April is typically when these things really start going. So you can see it was a very busy April in the way of job fairs and VR events. And then also in the month of April, we did have one rapid response in the area. Piston Automotive, which was one of the subcontractors there at Toyota. They had a layoff occur, so Clay with the CDO, the Department of Labor, Mayor with BCTC, Rolando and myself, we went out and presented to the affected employees about the rapid response services. And for once, we didn't have any business or community resource reportings in April for Stacy and I to do. So I'm not gonna say I was tickled to death, but I wasn't mad about it either.
And that Piston Automotive rapid response to the same company that the founders had was on board. Okay.
But I will be glad to take any questions.
Let's flood, Tom, with any questions we can come up with.
I've been well versed now, John. We had to, Rolly, myself and Stacy went to a public information officer speaker training. So now I can answer these questions on the fly.
Hey, even the instructor was calling him one take talk.
You are branded.
Seems that way now.
You're welcome, Todd. You're welcome.
Great job.
Yeah, I always appreciate that, the Jennifer and Tom, of course, just great. Showcase what this is about, right? It's great.
I'll ask a random question.
Okay.
When you go to the expungement clinics, or do you obtain any referrals through that, or?
I'm probably the wrong person to talk to, but the answer, but I will find the answer out for you, Dolly, because it's letting me get back with it. I learned that in that training.
Really wasn't.
They teach you to point
They
out.
did.
Those expungement clinics are usually treated like a job fair, so it's kind of, it's two in one, so you have like the job fair piece in the front. And then in the very back, they're doing that expunge piece. So we do have a table there, and any of those clients that are getting their records, that are working towards getting their records expunged, they're welcome to visit our table, and if it's something that they're interested, I think we received, there was a few people that visited our table that were interested in connecting with opportunities in the area, so.
So the one that Amy put on down here at Central Bank, it had like stages that you move through. So like number one, you would start out meeting with legal advice to people. And then if depending on what else you needed, and you would work your way back to us. And we're always in that back line of, like employer related resources.
Any other questions for Todd? Yeah, good. All right, thank you, Todd. Now we're talking about our board membership list, which I see some dates here that are concerned. Stacey?
Yeah, first of all, Todd, see, you poo-pooed the training, but look how handy it was. You've already put it to use. It honestly, it was, whether you enjoyed it or not, because I don't enjoy being on camera or talking in front of people, but it was an outstanding training. Those guys were really, I think, fantastic trainers. But about the board members. So this has actually been updated since the packet went out. Connie has been reappointed. Yay, Connie. And we have I'm sorry.
That's it. How many years, because, when we're on the board, that paperwork usually just goes in, sometimes we don't see it. Are we 4 years? Can you hear me?
No, you're 3 years. It's a 3-year term.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 3-year term.
It just usually goes through. Okay.
Yeah. And we will be welcoming a new member at the September training. She was unable to attend this meeting, so her official date starts in September. It's Danita Eckler with, is it Bullard?
Edie Bullard.
Yeah, Edie Bullard, out of Cynthiana. And I have actually known her for about 14 years. Back when not long after I was hired with the ad and was doing testing out with the employers, I met Danita. So that was fantastic to learn that she was interested in being a board member. So I'm very excited about her joining. We do have a couple of more. Darlene both and Dr. Tipton should both have emails from me. Or no, hers hasn't gone out yet. It was Darlene and Rhonda Pitchford should both have emails from me regarding reappointment as members. So please review and get the information back to me if you're interested in continuing on the board. If you're not, also please let me know. We hope you do continue. And then Dr. Tipton and Michelle Deans will be receiving an email from me in the upcoming months regarding reappointment if you're interested in remaining on the board. But for right now, we are in full compliance. He's not highlighted, but Michael Ledger was recently reappointed to the board as a workforce representative. So we are in full compliance and doing good. Rolling on.
Yeah, and Stacy, you always do a good job with this, and I appreciate it for years and years. How are we on industry coverage? I apologize, I don't have everybody's companies memorized.
That's something that we consider with the appointments. We are good because we have some level of representation out of every high demand sector. Yes, out of every high demand sector. I can double check that. I can actually add a column for next time that will identify what sector they're representing.
I don't want to add a lot of additional work. It was just more curiosity if you're looking to recruit additional members on where we might target those. But again, you do a great job here. I don't mean to challenge that.
Oh no, thank you. But no, that is something that we talk about when because for a long time we were very manufacturing heavy, and it's a lot more balanced now, including representation with education and childcare, which we're really happy about. So
great.
So yeah, we're good.
Any questions for Stacy? Hopefully, the people that on the bubble want to stay with us. All right. Current programs, initiatives, tip, and focus after the day.
Okay, so, the big thing that we have going on right now is those youth funds that are coming in, because Jennifer's already went over that Estill County cohort, Burley's already covered the NBWG and everything that we're doing with the CAP. The director's meeting is June 20th to 21st, in which we're nailing down the last little bits of those youth funds. I do plan on doing a small cohort with Fayette County, however, only maybe like 5. I've talked with Commissioner Ford about an initiative that we're gonna do here. The rest of that will go to the outlying counties, so like Nicholas County, Harrison County, Estill. Me, Kevin, Todd, and Rowley met with JAG, that is Jobs for America's Graduates. I don't know if you all are familiar with it or not, but they are a wonderful organization. Their goals align with exactly what WIOA goals are, when it comes to anyone really, because they do have, adult ed programs. I think they're doing a trial run up in Northern, right?
Yeah, they met with us and we reviewed forward, and we just got a notification yesterday that they wanted them to do 2 counties that are in Eastern Kentucky, and go there first, and then Boone County.
For the adult ed services. Yeah. So, but we'll work in the school systems with, right on, and I wrote it down, but I got the wrong paper. In July, me and Ronnie will be going to present whenever they have all their JAG specialists come together, because the reality is when you're trying to launch something in a school system, you have to get buy-in from those counselors. Right? If you don't have buy-in from the specialist and the counselor, it's not going to be successful. But so we're excited about that. Our goal with that will be to just place over 2 years, 400 graduating seniors that do not have a goal to go to college into a work-based learning opportunity that will lead to full-time employment. I know that some of the other areas really aren't, I don't think, focused on the wage of it, but I let Rowley, because Todd's worked with this, Kevin, we all know, it's gonna be $15 an hour. That's the jobs we're looking at, nothing under that. So that's one of the, that's the big thing. And then, Amy Glasscock, is holding a Kentucky Saturday. It will be July 25th. If we pay for board membership, anyone that would want to attend that is going to be Ember Sales, at the KCTCS. She states that there will be presentations from DOL, KWIB, Education and Labor Cabinet. I know that she's asked some of the local areas to present. We'll shoot the information out to you all. Truth be told, I would say today, but it'll probably be tomorrow morning. And anybody that wants to go, just let us know and we can get you registered. It'll be an all-day event, lunch will be served. You've got board staff and directors coming from all over the state, I reckon. To do this one day, July 25th. And it'll be from 9 to 3.
And that's the same location where our joint meeting is.
Yes, it'll be where our joint training is. I don't know if y'all been to the KCTC facility there in Michelle. It's really nice. It's a nice facility.
What you said, acronym, JAG.
Jobs for America's Graduates. Yeah. So, George Stanford is the president of it.